Do you get burnt out as a Poshmark reseller? Are you like basically over all of the comments and the stupid questions and the cases and the flaws and all of the things that come with being a reseller? Yeah, I have. I have gotten totally burnt out and I have been over it. And I've been doing this for 8+ years and I love reselling, but I also get sick of it sometimes. And so I found ways to incorporate boundaries and things that I do to kind of help prevent me from getting to a burnt out state where I need to take a break. Because let's face it, we're resellers. We can't take a break because if we take a break, we're not going to make any money from reselling. So you can't take a break. You need to figure out ways to set boundaries and kind of prevent you from wanting that break. And so I've got some tips and tricks for you here today. Let's go ahead and dive in. Download your free reseller resource guide today. I constantly update and share with you discounts, favorites, tools, and resources to help you with your reselling business. After the video, click the link in the description and get your totally free guide today. So I have some boundaries that help me keep my sanity as an 8+ year reseller. And so these are some of the things that I do to kind of help me stay sane and keep my mental health. You may or may not agree with these. Some of them may be controversial. This is what I choose to do. I'm bringing them up to share with you. You can do them. You cannot do them. You could do one. You could not do any. This is up to you, but this is what I do. So I only check my phone a couple times a day. And really that is because when I'm with my son, when I'm with my husband, when we're having family time, we really want to make sure that it's family time. If you have a job and you are a part-time Poshmark seller, you may not be able to check your phone at your job all the time. So I recognize that some of you may already be doing this. But if someone that is more fluid and could be checking their phone all the time, consider pulling back. Consider dialing back and just setting 4 reminders throughout the day, or set a habit stack kind of trigger, like when I get in the car, I will check my phone. When I'm sitting in car line to pick up my kids, I'll check my phone. When we're at dance practice, or whatever, or right before I start making dinner, I will check my phone. Whatever you want to do, but just checking your phone less. The offers will be there. And if you accept the offer within a few hours of when they did it, it will be fine. They most of the time don't cancel. The only time I've ever really seen people cancel an offer that they've sent has been in the middle of the night. I'll wake up, see an offer, and then see that it canceled. And so I think that's either they did it by accident or they found someone that was, available at that point or whatever. You can't worry about those. But so I try to check my phone less throughout the day. This really helps me because I'm not constantly chained to it. I'm not constantly looking to see if there's something I need to do in the app. I am just checking it periodically at certain times, and that helps me with my boundaries and my mental health and allows me to focus on other things more fully. So that's number 1. Number 2, I don't answer questions most of the time. And I have talked about this on the opposite side in the past and said, questions are good. Questions can tell you if there's a problem with your listing, because if 3 people have asked you what's the inseam, you should put the inseam in your listing. If somebody said, hey, this is listed as a large, but you said it was a medium, or the tag says this, but you said that, which one is it? That's going to tell you you have a mistake in your listing. So questions can be valuable. Questions can help lead to a sale. I am okay with the amount of sales that I make, and oftentimes I am triggered and upset and annoyed by the questions. So I don't answer them a lot of the time. And you might say, Rebecca, that makes you a lousy seller. How can you be on YouTube giving everybody advice, telling them not to answer questions? Because it's a free country and I can do whatever I want. That's why. And I don't mean that in a jerky way. I mean that in you do you, I'll do me. I'm just sharing what's going on. So I don't answer questions most of the time. Sometimes if I see one come in and I'm already on my phone and I'm, in there and it's a reasonable, easy to answer question that makes sense, I will answer it. But oftentimes it's a nonsensical question. It's I'm a 38D, will this fit me? I don't know. I put the measurements there. You decide. I'm not going to tell you if it fits you or not. I can't think of another weird question now, but there's lots of stupid, nonsensical questions that come in. And I recognize that they may not be stupid to the person and they may be very genuine and they need that information in order to make a sale. But you know what? I'm okay to bow out of this one. And you can make a sale with someone else because I get upset. I am a very emotional person. And usually when I'm here with you guys, I'm pretty much like, this is what I do. And I'm kind of like very straightforward. But in my regular life, I am an emotional mess. So when these people send me stupid questions and they just catch me on one of those days, I am on a thing. And so for my mental health, and I don't let it bother me. It's not like they ruin my day. It's more of they piss me off and it sends my stress level high. And I don't want to keep doing that to myself because I'm trying to bring down my stress. So after doing this for so long and seeing all of the kinds of questions that come in, I'm just making the choice not to answer most of them. So that doesn't mean all of them, but it means most of them. And that's my choice. And you don't have to do that, but I'm letting you know that I'm a person here that does that. And so if you feel similarly and needed permission to do the same thing, go ahead and do it. But it may cost you a sale. You have to be okay with that. I'm okay with that. I make plenty of sales. I'm perfectly fine with the money I make. I'm okay if a couple fall through the cracks because I don't want to deal with the crazy on the interwebs. I'm okay with that. The next one is I don't comment in cases. So unless there's something that I really must say, I do not comment in cases. And let's say I don't get that many cases. There was a time, and I did a whole video about, oh my, like something's going on with the cases. I had so many and they were all approved and this is not good and what kind of slippery slope are we on? And that did happen, but then it kind of trickled away. So I don't know what was going on with Poshmark during that time. It was definitely something, but I've seen it settle out. So I might get a case once every other month, once every 3 months, something like that. It's not a lot. And often it is an erroneous case, like they don't know that it can't be done due to fit, or they bought the wrong thing, or they bought something twice, or like it's kind of like it's not really my fault, and so there's nothing for me to say. Sometimes it is my fault, and if it is, I don't need to say anything either because Poshmark is just going to approve it. So along the lines of the questions, I don't want to get all riled up, and I have gotten many Poshmark case comments that have turned into a whole thing. Because I will go back and say, this is this and that is that, and this is what I did, and that is why this is an erroneous claim. And then the person just gets all berserk, and then it turns into a whole thing. And I'm not trying to have that kind of drama in my life. I really don't want any of it. I want a calm blood pressure, calm stress level. I don't want to do that. So I just don't talk in there. So if Poshmark approves it, they approve it. If they don't, they don't. I get my item back, unless there's really something that I need to step in about, I don't. I just kind of let it happen because most of the time it's going to happen anyway. Either Poshmark is going to deny it, whether I say something or not, or Poshmark is going to approve it, whether I say something or not. So I don't need to engage. I'm trying not to engage. So I don't comment in cases. I want to make you aware of the hottest, the best deal I have ever offered in my Rebecca the Reseller Academy. To find it, all you have to do is scroll all the way down to the bottom and you will find this right here. Hot deal, best value, all courses and digital downloads for life. This is it, friends. This is as good as it's going to get. I'm giving you everything I have in my academy, all the digital downloads, all the courses for just $20. The best part is if I create a new digital download going forward, you will get it absolutely free. This is the time to lock in the best deal I have ever offered. All you have to do is go to Rebecca the Reseller Academy, scroll down to Hot Deal, and purchase it for $20. If you're wondering what comes in this, it's everything. So you're going to get all of my courses, and you're also going to get all of the digital downloads that I've created, including my keywords list, my listing forms, my Poshmark closet signs, everything that I have created, and everything that I ever will create will be yours for literally $20. The next boundary that I kind of put up is that I don't really do anything about less than 5-star ratings. Like not anything. Like most of the time I'm not even paying attention to the ratings that come in. Now I know when you're new and in the beginning and you don't have that many sales and you don't have that many listings and you're kind of like micromanaging every little part of it. Trust me when I say that when you get to so many listings and there's so many notifications coming in and you've been doing this for so long and you're getting a normal amount of sales, you're not dealing in all that nitty gritty like you are at the beginning. And I did in the beginning. But now I don't even pay attention to the ratings. I don't look. So if I happen to see the notification come in that says you've got a rating, I'm like, somebody didn't like what happened. I wonder what Susie said. Like I don't look. I don't go in there. I don't comment back. I don't try to make it right. I don't engage. And so I think that that is something that will give you, again, permission to keep your mental clarity and peace and calm when you don't engage. If you don't agree, that's okay. Do you, but I don't get involved in these less than 5-star ratings anymore. Not at all. I don't care. If I get a return, I just take it and I send it to ThreadUp most of the time because I'm sending like liquidation boxes to ThreadUp. Some people ask like, what are you doing with ThreadUp? I'm not doing much with it. It's not great. So I'm just getting rid of things by sending them to ThreadUp. So I'm kind of like, you can have it. And if I make some money off of it, great. It's better than donating it. And that's great. So ThreadUp is like my liquidation. And I am also triggered by returns. Again, I've been doing this 8 years. I'm over it. I get annoyed when I get a return. I have to go to the P.O. box and get the friggin' thing. Like I am grumpy. I am grumpy. And so I don't want to do all this extra stuff. And so I have to go get this return. I'm not going to relist it. I'm not going to do all the things with it. I'm just going to send it to ThreadUp and call it a day. I'm not reprocessing returns. I used to have a box and then once a month I'd go in and handle it. And it just makes me upset. I don't want to be upset. I want to have an easy peasy reselling life. And that's what I have. And I've been protecting it by doing these things. So again, not all of these are going to be for you. This is what I do to set my boundaries. If I get a return, I send it to ThreadUp. I am comfortable with what I list, what I make, and my systems. I do not feel the need to keep reinventing the wheel and like go and doing all this stuff. That's me. That's where I'm not refixing everything. I'm not making a lot of improvements. I'm not upsetting the apple cart. I am in a place in my reselling where my systems are set. I've done all that work. I have made the efficient improvements. I have my systems. I'm making a good amount of sales. I'm good. I just want to coast. And I hope that you get to that point. But you may not be there yet. You may need to do some of those improvements to your photo system. You may need to do improvements to your listings. You may need to do improvements to the kinds of things that you source in your pricing formula or whatever. And I have videos on all of those things. But my boundaries now include that my business is what it is. If it's it and I can make money off of it, it comes in. If it doesn't, I don't do it. Because I don't want to reinvigorate my whole shebang. You know, I'm not trying to sell shoes right now. My operation is set up to sell women's clothing mostly. I have a hanging operation. So I'm not trying to flat lay a lot of stuff. Like every once in a while when I get some boutique items in, I'll do a flat lay day for boutique items because I can sell them over and over again, so it's worth it. But I'm not trying to buy one-off shoes. I've never really been a big shoe seller. I'm not trying to run that kind of operation. So I'm not looking at shoes. I'm simplifying what I do. I'm simplifying what I source, what I list. I don't need to know all those keywords for shoes because I just need to know women's clothing stuff. So that helps me keep my sanity. That's a boundary that I put up for the stage I'm at in my reselling career. So these are things that I do to put up boundaries to help me feel good with what I'm doing. Because when I have a few other things. But when you're your own boss and when you run your own reselling business, it's very easy to get caught up in all the things out there. Should I be selling that? Should I be listing this way? Should I be doing live shows? Should I be on this platform? There's like all this stuff going on. You need to also settle in to, this is what I do. She could do that. Good for her. But this works for me and I'm going to keep doing this. And so I'm in that place. I've been in this place for a while, but I realize not all of you are in that place. get here. It feels really good. Like the water's good. Jump in. Get to your place where you make peace with what you do and what you don't do so that you can just cruise and have a peaceful, nice reselling business that produces for you what you need it to. Nothing more, nothing less, but that you don't have to go crazy. And that's good. So now the other things that I have for you are just a few ways to lighten your load so that maybe you don't get to the point where you feel like you need a break. And I think that this helps big for me. And I've had a lot of these systems in place for quite some time. That way you want less breaks, and that way you can find a manageable way to do this. So one is to batch work, in that helps you set up boundaries for your time and allows you to get into a flow that works. So, usually what I do is I'll take photos on a day, everything on my rack, and then I make those listings go for however long based on what my listing consistent number is. And so sometimes it's 5 per day, sometimes it's 10 per day, sometimes it's none per day, no new listings, and it's just relists based on what's going on in my life, which I'll talk about in a second. So you want to get comfortable with, like, I can do 5 listings a day consistently. That requires me to photograph 35 items a week. If I can't find 35 items photographing time per week, do I want to do 1 day a month that gets me all of my photos for the month and then they go listing per day? Or do I like doing 5 per day because just popping in and doing 5 photos a day is good? You have to decide, but I like batch working because I feel like that really does set me up for the most consistency. Then I can say photos are done. I don't have to think about photos for an entire week. Or photos are done, I don't have to think about photos for a whole month. And that's good. That gives me peace of mind. I don't feel like it's the constant grind of, this day got away from me and I'm not feeling so good, and Gio's homework took longer to do with him, and so now I don't have time to do my photos. That's no good. So if you're constantly under the gun with your processes, that's stressful. So if you can just set up a batch work situation where you do photos 1 day for the week or photos 1 day for the month or whatever works for you, I recommend that. The next one is flex batch, which I did a whole video about having a passive reselling business, because during the summer, I don't list anything. I don't take any photos. I don't list anything. Not one thing. Nope. Over the holidays, I don't list anything. I do nothing. No photos. Those are the 2 times of year that I basically take off and do no work. And I've set up the business where it still operates and I still make the same amount of sales regardless. So I make the same amount of money in the summer as I do in the fall. I make the same amount of money in December as I do in October, even though I'm not working parts of those times. And that's because I did the work ahead of time. I set up these flex batch systems. So I have listings already ready, or I'm doing relisting at that time and no new listings. And again, I have a whole video on it, but that gives me lots of break. Like, I take months off. And so when I'm ready to come back, which is like right now I'm recording this video on August 20th. I have no idea when you're going to see this video, probably 3 months from now. But I batch do my videos, I batch do my listings, my photographs, everything, so that I can work when it makes sense for me to work in my life, and I take off when I need to take off. And having those breaks are amazing, because now I'm coming off the summer where I did nothing. And now I can't wait to work. Now I'm excited to work. I'm excited to make these videos. I'm excited to do a ton of stuff on my rack. I can't wait to photograph that. I am rested and I feel good. My break was accounted for. I'm not burnt out and saying, oh my God, I need a break. I just can't do this anymore. I'm not doing that, because I've built in my break and I've planned for it and prepped for it so that it's all seamless. So flex batching really, really is good for you, so you can plan your breaks, and that way your business doesn't suffer because of it. Posher VA is a tax-deductible business investment that pays for itself many times over each month. It increases Poshmark sales because it shares and sends offers more than I ever could manually. It handles all my shares, automatic offer to likers, bulk offers, and it can do price drops and relists. When my coaching clients add Posher VA, it makes more sales basically immediately. The best part is that you get your time back. More time with family, thrifting, whatever. Get 20% off with code Rebecca the Reseller and the link below. The next one is get Posher VA. No brainer. If you have not done it by now, oh my God, go do it. Posher VA, I think it's less than $30 a month. I don't know. I've had it for years now. I don't even look at the price. But use my code, Rebecca the Reseller. You get 20% off. This does everything for you. I have many videos on how I use it, how I set it up, all the things. I'm planning on doing a few more because I've gotten some questions, so stay tuned. But Posher VA does it for you. Everything. The sharing, the offers, the dropping prices. Some people use it to relist. I don't. I use Vendu to relist. But it's a game changer. 1,000,000 times %. And so you must do it. You must do it. You must. And so that will help you because you're not chained to your phone sharing or sending these offers or doing that stuff. So that's a great thing for your peace of mind. Get a VA, which stands for virtual assistant. So you could hire your own virtual assistant. I have had mine. I think she's been with me 6 years. Like, that's scary. It's scary that I've been reselling for over 8 years, and it's scary that my VA has been working with me for like 6 years. She does so much for me, and she's done so much over the years. I mean, I used to pay her to share for me. That's how, like, this was before Posher VA. And so I would pay a real person to share my closet multiple times a day for me. That used to cost me tons of money, hundreds of dollars, even though she was in the Philippines, because I had her sharing that much. Then when Posher VA came, obviously we didn't have to do that. I gave her other things to do. But having a virtual assistant draft listings for you is another way to just take the pressure off and have a business run with less of you involved, which allows you either to do more and make more, or to do less but make the same amount of money and focus on your job, your family, your self-care, your, reading hobby, whatever you, crafting, whatever you want to do. So you may want to and be ready for a virtual assistant. And I do have videos on that. And if you want a coaching call, I can kind of help walk you through how to really make that work, because there is a lot involved. It's not magic. Like, it takes a little work, but once you get it set up, you are free. You are totally free. And then the other one is get a photographer, which I think would be the first step. I think getting a photographer as a first step is good because it's a physical person here in real life. It's not a virtual assistant. And so that allows you to kind of work with a person to get used to bringing someone into your business when you're doing that for the first time. And I think that's what I did. I can't actually remember if I hired the photographer first or the VA first. Now, it's been so long. They were all around the same time, so I don't remember what the chicken or the egg came first. But, getting a college student in your area, getting one of your kids, getting, a retired woman in your area, getting another stay-at-home mom or something like that. I'm assuming, I know you may not be a stay-at-home mom, but just getting somebody else to come in and take photos in your house, or you give them the stuff and they do it at their house. I've done both. I have videos on this. Really helps with taking that burden off of you to be that bottleneck in the business of the photographs. And it's my least favorite part. I'd rather list something than photograph something. I don't know why. And so for me, I'm photographer list right now because I had a really good one and she moved away, and I was like, I really just don't want to train somebody else. And then I knew I was going to kind of like take, my summer break and stuff. So I just kind of didn't really pursue it. Now I'm kind of like, I'll do the photos and then I'll see, do I really want to get somebody else or not? Because it is a little bit of a, like, you got to hire them and you got to decide, you got to set everything up, you got to train them. But when it works, oh man, the one that I had, the last one, I had her for I think 6 months, but then her husband got a new job and she moved. But she was phenomenal and she did everything I needed her to do. It was all good. Once I trained her, she was like off to the races. It was well worth the 2 weeks that we spent together in kind of training mode to get 6 months of her work. It was lovely. So, you may not be ready for that. You might be, This is me telling you it might be time to consider it. But so that's everything I have for you. This was kind of one of those weird videos where you may not think of this stuff, but little by little, you're getting burnt out. Little by little, you're getting over it. And so then it's going to bubble up. And I would hate that for you because I've had that bubble up for me. And then it basically takes you out, right? Like then you're not doing anything because you're pissed off and you're upset, or you just need a break and you're exhausted. And if you can set your boundaries and then you can do some things to take the load off and make it a little bit easier, you may not get to that point as quickly, or at all. I don't really get burnout now because I plan for my breaks and I incorporate them into my systems. And so my reselling business is consistent all year, but I am not consistently working in it all year. And that's a great thing. And I wish that for you. If you have questions about it, drop them below. You can always set up a coaching call with me and I'd be happy to like work with you in your own unique situation on that so that you can kind of get there. But thanks, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.